It's officially the Kalen DeBoer era for the University of Alabama. He took the podium for the first time this afternoon inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium. Ryan Brown and I were able to discuss just what the journey was like for him heading into this role. Coach, Emily Grace McWhorter from the Next Round. We are so excited that you're here in Alabama. As you stand inside Bryant-Denny, what would you say to your 18 to 20-year-old self playing wide receiver at Sioux Falls?
Yeah, he would have never thought anything like this was ever possible. And, I think that's what I love about my journey is that it was never about getting to a place like Alabama. It's always been about enjoying the moment and just loving football, loving the pureness of the game, loving being a teammate. And so if I went back to those days, it would have never been in my mind. I mean, coaching, I think, is something I knew I wanted to do. And I loved high school coaching. I did it for 2 years. I thought I saw myself doing that forever. I got sucked into the college football world, and here we are. But it's just special. It means a lot that people entrust me with the players, their lives. Like Greg said it. I hope that parents are seeing myself and this staff as people who they want their sons to play for, because that's the way I look at them. If you saw my daughter's 18 and going to be going to college next year, and I think when you have kids of your own, you have a perspective that is kind of focused on all of that, and I can't wait to provide an environment where these guys are having one of the greatest times of their lives.
Coach Ryan Brown from the Next Round. You mentioned upstairs that this is one of, if not the only job you would have left Washington for. To the best of your memory, can you recount the moment you were first told Alabama was interested in you following Nick Saban and your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think it was, the announcement and later that evening, and understand I didn't even get a chance to talk to Greg at that time yet, but just that there might be some interest. And it's not even the rumors and things that you hear and see. You hear about them quickly, right, because everyone's paying attention to it. It gets to you in a lot of different ways. But, obviously, the opportunity and planning to get the chance to meet on Thursday, I think, was something that I was really excited about. And I think what I really always hope for in these situations is, yes, I mean, this is a spot I wanted to be, but I think most importantly it's about making sure that my values are the same values that Alabama has, and the process and the things that I want are the same things that Alabama wants, and making sure that Greg and I jived in a way where we feel great about locking arms and taking on the fights together. And I saw that when I met with him. I feel extremely confident in how passionate he is about UW, about Alabama, and everything that happens here. And so I can't wait to go through this journey. I talk about journey a lot. It means a lot to me because I think that's what we're all on.
A critical piece in the search for Nick Saban's successor was Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne and his ability to discern who would be the best fit to continue the legacy of such an influential program in college football.
Ryan Brown from the...
Hello, Ryan.
How are you, Greg?
Tired,
okay.
But I'm okay.
Yeah, we all are.
That's right.
Do you recall the first time Kalen DeBoer came on your radar screen and what made him appealing to you?
Yeah, so one of the things, I told this story next door. One of the things my dad taught me early on, because for those of you who don't know, my dad was an athletics director for 29 years, so I grew up around this. But I remember early on, because he knew I was interested in this, and I'd say, hey, Dad, tell me, give me advice on all sorts of different things. But one of the ones that stuck forever was watch coaches coach, okay? So the story I tell, and it's actually a little bit tied to Coach DeBoer, is my first full-time job in athletics was a regional fundraiser at Oregon. And I had all of Southern Oregon and all of California, okay? And so I had a lot of windshield time, as you can imagine, driving around. But I'd get up to Eugene, and I would go watch football practice whenever I could. Well, Mike Bellotti had just become the head coach, who I mentioned earlier, and he had in just a few year span, he had Jeff Tedford, who Coach DeBoer worked for at Fresno, who I think was here in 17, if I'm not mistaken. He had Chris Peterson, who became the Washington coach. He had Dirk Cutter, who became an NFL head coach. And I got to watch some really high-level coaches coach. And you learn how to watch body language. You learn how to watch their communication skills. How do they come across You know, are they smart people, right? And so I watch a lot of coaches. That's one of the things I do. I literally sit in my office because I get there so early. I literally sit in my office some mornings before I work out and I watch YouTube videos of coaches. And I watch interviews that take place. So I don't know the first time I ever watched Coach DeBoer, but I would guess it was probably 3-4 years ago, something like that, where he was at Fresno, and you just, I never wanted Coach Saban to retire. You mentioned Ryan, kick the can down as far down the road as you can, but it would have been irresponsible of me if we weren't working on being prepared when that day came, hoping it would never come. And so, I probably watch hundreds of hours of that every year.
Emily Grace McWhorter, also from the next round. When you look back on the last 48 hours or so, what will you remember most, do you think?
Well, what will I remember most? That's a good question. When you go through this, and I'm in my 17th year of being an AD, so I've done this a few times. You think about, as much, probably as much as anything, you think about the responsibility that you have, that so many people are counting on you to be a good leader and make good decisions and be thoughtful in the process. And I think, first and foremost, I thought about the guys on our team, okay? Next, I thought about our entire department and the impact that our football program has there. Next, I thought about our fan base. We've got a couple of those, right? And the way they support our university and care and the passion that they have, if I didn't take their feelings into account, not that I was sitting there reading message boards, because I don't do that, and that wouldn't have been very productive on my part, but passion here is like none other. And so if you don't feel a responsibility to take the steps of what you're doing seriously, then shame on me. And so, that's when I get through each of the coaching searches I've been a part of. And I think, if I'm hiring a tennis coach, right, the young men or the young women on that tennis team, they're counting on you. They're counting on you and their future and what they've done. And so you better take that seriously too. But I also understand there may be a few more cameras that show up when you announce the football coach than others.
As Greg Byrne put it, each day in the coaching search feels like 7 days. Now it's time for Kalen DeBoer to don the scripted A and begin his journey as a University of Alabama's head football coach. Emily Grace McWhorter for the next round.